Was there another topic we had?
We have to talk about Kkoma in the Asian Games.
Oh, I forgot all about that. Yeah, true.
I'm sorry, guys. There's just been so much. This has been an unusually high week of bullshit. And none of this bullshit has kind of like reached the Four Horsemen bar yet. But we do have to talk about the Asian Games. So what's going on with the Asian Games, guys, is now Kkoma, of course, legendary former T1 coach, current Dam1 coach, is no longer the coach of the national team for the Asian Games. So why, you might be asking, is this happening? So Kespa, which is the semi-governmental body, they are the intermediary between the esports world and the Korean government, was responsible for the selection of the Asian Games. It was delegated to them by the government of Korea. Now, nobody likes Kespa. I'm not going to, we could do an entire Four Horsemen episodes about why Kespa is fucking horrible and has been for 20 years. But needless to say, this is not the time and place for that. They are... You can see from this particular instance their vast incompetence.
We also have zero chance of having any impact on what they do, no matter what we say. So don't worry about that one.
Unfortunately, we cannot stop them.
Yes,
Nobody can. Actually, that's not true. Riot could have stopped them by simply refusing to interact with them in the early days of League of Legends, but unfortunately, because Riot was run by people who didn't understand Korean esports, even though I literally warned them about Kespa, they were like, nah, we'll just work with them. And so they re-empowered them. We could have killed them off with StarCraft, basically, or just kept them over there. But Riot was like, we should interact with these people. I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. And then they did. And now Kespa's here to stay. So unfortunate, but there we go. Anyway, so Kkoma... Basically, Kespa is responsible for selecting the players that are going to be on the Asian Game roster. They can only select 6 players, 5 starters and 1 alternate player, but they are doing trials with 10 players. Now, what they did is Kespa, what it appears to me is happening, is that they are trying to make a push to regionalize League of Legends. So they were going to do some exhibition matches as trials between the 10 players in Gwangju, which is a different city in Korea, using kind of a new esports arena or a new facility that they kind of wanted to show off there. Now, there's several layers to why this is bullshit. First off, why would you possibly show your scrims if you want these players to do well at the Asian Games? I know it's going to be on a different patch, but there's really no point to doing this. Secondly, isn't it kind of cruel to make these players play publicly for their spots when, again, the reward is potentially not doing 2 years of mandatory military service? That seems kind of unprofessional. And why not just choose the roster and not let the fans see things and then fight it out if their favorite player doesn't actually make it, even if their favorite player performed well in these exhibition matches? You just need to make that decision.
Yeah, there's the other thing. You're also opening the door for a player one-off in that scrim, popping off, but you don't think he should be in the final team. You don't pick him, and you look like an idiot, and all his fans go mental in the death threats, all the usual fun of the Korean circus.
So thirdly, if you are going to pick a coach for this team, you have to invest in them authority in order to select the final roster, because nobody at Kespa has Kkoma's game knowledge or relationships with these players, etc. And so what happened is Kkoma he basically was just eating shit for all of Kespa's decisions, to the point that he was crying on stream. Because obviously, first off, it's an honor to be selected for the national coaching position, but you actually have to be invested with authority for it to be meaningful. And then on top of that, all of the Korean fans are just getting enraged at him. Oh, he's going to be biased for Dam1. Even though T1 fans are flipping out, being you got to pick the whole T1 roster for the best, opportunity to win this tournament. If you don't do that, you're biased because you're Dam1. Dam1 fans are you should pick the Dam1 players. It's a complete fucking fiesta. So it's a lose-lose situation for Kkoma. I think he is smart to get the fuck out of this scenario. But because it doesn't matter what he does, because people are going to get mad no matter what, and he's going to eat a bunch of shit no matter what.
To China in the fucking tournament, mate. God forbid that happens.
But even if he wins, Thorin, people will be like, "Well, you should have picked this player. We would have won anyway, and it was more important for this player to get military."
You could even argue, that's the most toxic part of it, Monte, is that you've now made it so that if you win, he gets fucked. Because if you win, here's the obvious example, right? If you win and you picked Faker, then all the Damwon fans go, see, biased till the end, got your boy Faker, his military service off. If you pick Showmaker, they go, oh, secretly got a grudge against Faker and don't want him to. You can't win. You actually can't win. This is what I know. It's so fucked, isn't it?
So I feel for Kkoma, man. Like, this is just a terrible situation. But now you have, again, going back to the whole Asian game things, this has been so mishandled that now you have less of a chance than you did before. Remember, you sacrificed the competitive integrity of the LCK by not rescheduling matches while teams had COVID, which affected the final results of the regular season. You didn't push back your playoffs. You didn't push back your finals so that you could do this thing. And now this thing doesn't have a coach and is on fire. It's embarrassing. And again, if you're going to make these decisions about we're going to sacrifice LCK, why is this such a fiesta? Like,
by the way, here's also where the universe does have a sense of humor, though, Monty. Because right at the moment that the tension is at the highest for the LCK, all this stress, all this drama. What do you know? The two teams that have just made it to the final, the LPL, contain 0 Korean imports. So it's also going to be one of the best years ever. For China, could essentially just make like a Chinese super team, and they might also win. Like, that's the worst part, is that they could resolve all these issues and still lose. So it'll all be for nothing. No one will get the bloody military service on for like.
Well, and also, what happens, Thorin, if this whole event, because of the COVID situation, now there's no reason to believe, by the way, guys, that the COVID situation is going to get any better in China. Like,
no one really knows it, by the way, what the metrics are and why they're doing stuff. So yeah, there's no logic as to what they'll end. Yeah.
Obviously, nobody has real information because it's kept secret by the Chinese government. So even though it's in September, now it's a long way away from now. Things could certainly get better during this time. They also might not. And ultimately, they're going to have to make a call as to whether this goes forward, before that particular point in time.
By the way, I will mold if they end up somehow cancelling that, like, fucking the league tournament.
Yes.
This competition, I'll go mental, mate.
So if they cancel these games, then all of this bullshit will have been for absolutely no reason.
Even MSI, everything.
Like,
yes.
We will have sacrificed so much competitive integrity for absolutely nothing this year.
Like if we sign Bjergsen to play mid lane this year, just get nothing to show for it. Millions wasted.
Here's a hot take of something that might happen. Okay, here you go. Because it's the Asian Games and the teams are technically close enough to play online, they might cancel the physical sports, keep the esports, because there's more than there's Hearthstone, there's PUBG Mobile.
Right.
I think there's a fighting game. There's multiple esports that are medal events at this Asian Games. I can't remember quite off the top of my head. So what happens if they do the same thing that MSI is doing, but they give the Chinese team 0 ping because it was supposed to happen in China, and they just force everyone else to play with ping to the Chinese server?
Here's the thing. If I was someone in Tencent, I would be sat going, what if? That's the shit. By the way, imagine the drama that would involve.
Just saying, that's on the table, guys.
This is also, by the way, again, though, why they don't actually understand marketing in esports, Monty. Because what they do instead is, because it's China, we all know the way shit really works over there, everyone just awkwardly is talking around this and trying to not like point out like the connections between the dots. If they actually had any fucking balls in League, you'd just Vince McMahon it. This would be part of the storyline. It would be like, wait a minute, what's going on? And you know what? China gets to have the 35 ping as well. Like, they come up, what the fuck? That's biased. That's it. Yeah, I don't care, man. Like, I'd do the whole. I'd have like a fake Dana White type character. Fucking, that'd be sick if you did like that, man. Yeah. Like, even if you just had it. By the way, you could actually make all the fucked up shit Riot does suddenly fun. Like, if instead, Monty, of just not saying double lift invited, if instead there was some Dana White character again who goes, "Yo, wait, double lift. How dare you say that about up left swipe? You're off the event. Oh my god, like you're fired, Trump style. Like, that'd be amazing, mate."
That's the great irony. That's the great irony of League of Legends esports, Thorin, is that Vince McMahon, the fake-ass commissioner of a fake-ass sport, is a better commissioner than anybody at Riot.
He is. Yeah.
And the fake sport commissioner is actually better than the real commissioner. That is insane.
Exactly. And he just plays one on TV. Exactly. It's great. Yeah. It's true. Actually is.
Oh my God. So yeah, I mean, this people like probably, weren't putting all the like dots together on all of the stuff that happened this week regarding just like not paying people on broadcasts, the whole like MSI ping issue, and now combined with the fact that like the Kkoma issue with him not being the coach anymore.
As well. When people always do that thing where they go, "Oh, tiniest violin in the world time now." Spare a thought for people like Bjergsen who are playing for millions of dollars and not very good at the game. Oh, they can't just play Champions Queue all the time, Thorin. They've got to have a life. This is what happens when you're actually a top Asian pro. The amount of shit you eat on a daily fucking basis. People like Bjergsen can't even comprehend it, mate. Like, that's the other thing I hate about when they talk about like how hard it is for people in the West. You don't even know how hard it is for these bloody people. Like, spoiler, like we're saying in this scenario, there is no positive outcome if you Kkoma. If you win, you get fucked. If you pick the right play, you get fucked. If you pick the wrong play, you get fucked. No matter what, you get hit. That's just your life.
It's the worst job
That's just reality, isn't it? I know, it sucks. Like, who the fuck would want that? That's the ultimate poison chalice. And as you say, you don't even pick the players. Yeah, so the thing is, you get the player and you didn't pick them.
Yeah, it basically Kespa is just using you as a meat shield.
You're just a flak. That's all you are, just the flak to attract heat-seeking missiles. So just blow up on Kespa.
Kespa's like the hero, like the villain in the action movie who like has that guy held down in front of him while all the bullets are raining down. And Kkoma's just like, no, please don't kill me.
Exactly.
While all the fans are just there, like the SWAT team behind all the cars, just like aiming their guns at him.
Monte, just because it's so ridiculous, would always be in those action movies back in the day where they would fall, use another person to land on, and then sort of like just get up off of them as though that wouldn't wreck you as well, just like the impact going through their body. But you just use their body as like a human shield to land, and then you just like get off or whatever. Like that wouldn't work. But that is what they've done to Kkoma here for sure. It's mad, isn't it? What a fucking. Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or be a pleb and don't.